our tiny house. And in this video, we will tell you why it was necessary and how it went. And the reason was we built our base for the tiny house too close to the river. And we noticed this at the weekend where we moved.
I'm gonna go for a short walk to see how it is all the way there.
It was raining so much and the river was floating. The water touched the tiny house base and then we knew, okay, we need to leave. If we cannot be here, we cannot build a deck. We need to wait until we have a new base, a bigger base, a higher base. And this is what we did.
Yeah, well, we're actually really stressful because, I don't know, first weekend, right? We were sleeping and then you could see the river, the water raising quite a lot, went all the way to the base of the tiny house. At some point, I could not even sleep properly anymore. I was just sleeping and like getting back and checking like, hey, what's happening? How is the water level? How's the water level? Oh, so stressful.
Very stressful. But yeah, we found a good place. It's closer to the house, a bit higher. We needed to figure out how we want to position the tiny house because we also wanted to have it somewhere where we still have like a view on the river, but it shouldn't be too much in the view from the terrace from the house, like to the river. So it was a bit difficult, but yeah, we managed something. And then when they started with the construction, at the ruin, there were so many stones and they needed to take the stones out.
Yeah, the construction of the house.
Yeah, thanks.
So we had to pretty much hire another company to do the break. So they broke up the stones and then we pretty much had like many square meters of stones. We didn't know what to do. And we used part of the stones to build the new base of the tiny house, plus some part of the structure for the main house as well. So it was actually quite useful and we like it a lot. It looks really, really good. We can also put like a picture where we compare the base that was done with the stone from the river plus the base that was done with the other stones. I like it more actually.
Yeah, they started to build the wall. I really do like it. It's so impressive to me how they managed to put the stones over each other and then they filled the whole base with a lot of sand. They also told us we need to cut down a tree which was close by because the tree was already like going a bit too much to the tiny house base. It was also exciting. It was the first time I saw how a tree got cut.
So, the way how they built this walls and this base is actually quite nice. There's just two guys. One comes with a machine. They get like a chain. They hold the stone. They lift it. And then the other guy down there goes like try to balance and then put the stone. These stones are like super heavy. Super, super heavy. There was another day where so there was somehow a stone kind of on the way the car, so we could not properly leave, like without being too close to the river, but also too close to the stone. And me and Stella would try to just push, just to like tip the stone in a way that would be a bit less in a way. It was not like, we're not talking like stone, but like just tiny stuff, right? And we just wanted to tip, but it was heavy. It was heavy. We had to do like this back and forth many times until we managed to tip. And it's crazy how this tiny machine, but it's still tiny, it just takes the stone, just places it there, like so smooth. It's crazy.
That's true. Yeah, when the base was in preparation, we also thought about like how should the deck should look like, and
yeah, we just started to check as always Pinterest and maybe some sketch of how it could look like.
Trying to try to visualize more or less how we want to have the deck in the tiny house. So ideally having a way here, so that's the ramp up with grass, maybe some stones. Here's each one of the steps, and then you reach the deck of the tiny house. And we're making this funny way here so we can enjoy more of this area, but still have fairly good access around the tiny house. Maybe put some storage here in the back, and because here we have some stones, which makes some shelter. So yeah, that's the idea.
I also talked with my cousin about it. He's architect. He also helped a lot with the construction of the house, or the planning. We have some ideas of what's going to look like. This week, we talked with the carpenter, so he's probably coming here at some point just to check and get the measurements and to see how the deck would look like. Also cost and everything. We don't know anything yet, but yeah, we did some study on this side.
Oh, it's so nice to have a deck.
Now, yeah. Another problem with not having a deck is that mainly during the rainy seasons, you don't have a outdoor covered place. That means that Bonnie goes out, when she comes back, it's just mud.
Yeah.
We arriving from groceries, it's just mud. because you're stacking on mud and you straight go to the tiny house. Then there's no place, right? There's no entrance of the tiny house. So having a deck where we can have covered somewhere and put maybe the wet things outside will be so helpful.
Yeah.
Another level, right?
But also with the sand, like now everything is dry and we take so much sand inside of the house. It's crazy. You can clean 24/7 and it never is sand free, the tiny house. There's always something. A deck is very useful. So if you plan to get a tiny house,
Be ready for that.
yeah.
So regarding the base, so once the base was ready, it was time to do actually the foundation for the tiny house. So it's sitting in the concrete base. It's better, stable, and
Also leveled.
leveled. And of course, you don't want to be in a tiny house, but the paint's a bit tilted. So the guys prepared that. It was it's really good. It's actually quite clean and stuff. Of course, there's some cables, some things down there, but since we're gonna build the deck, and the deck's gonna be the same level as the tiny house, it's the floor of the tiny house. Everything that mats there are gonna be heated anyway, so it doesn't matter. And Stella was traveling,
I was in Berlin.
for wedding, company party, and stuff.
Family, friends.
And I was here, so I took the chance of, every day taking some of the items out of the things we have from the tiny house to the tent, because that's another detail on the move. We cannot move the tiny house with all of the things inside because it's too heavy. So the tiny house by itself, alone without anything, weighs 3.5 tons, which is like the maximum you can have here in Europe for the type of trailer. And I had pretty much removed everything. TV, chairs, working stuff, cutlery, plates. And so every day after work and in the morning, while we do my workout, I was actually taking some things out and put in the tent so we could actually do the move. Because Stella arrived on a Sunday and we moved on Monday morning.
It was great.
Yeah, so
Because coming back here is also not that easy anymore.
Yeah, that's another topic.
Yeah.
How to get flights, how to commute here. It's a bit of a...
But yeah, then Monday morning we took the rest out. So the sofa.
Yeah, I think we had the sofa, TV.
Some small things which were still in the tiny house, like some plates we were using, stuff like this. We just placed everything outside. Everything was standing around. It was very chaotic. And then you also moved the cars so that they're not in the way for carrying the tiny house. And then at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
the guys came, Senor Ricardo, with some helpers.
Yeah, and some helpers. So it was a lot of work, always a lot of work, even though we're talking about 10 meters.
Distance, no, it's more.
I mean, the tiny house needs to drive more, but if you go in a straight line from the previous base to the new base, it's like
20 meters maybe.
20 meters. Okay. But it took still 1.5 hours.
I think it took longer.
With everything prepared. So to just drive this, and it was kind of tense. You're gonna see that tiny house was very weird location because the ground was not super level. We had to put the tiny house on top of the stuff, right? So we had the soil that Senor Ricardo took it here, but it was not very dense, meaning that when the tractor pushed the tiny house upwards, 3 tons in just 4 tires starts to sink in the soil. So we need to have another machine to pull from the back.
No, at first they wanted to try to just drag it up or push it up. This didn't work. Then they took excavator and they wanted to pull it from the other side. So the tractor pushing, the excavator pulling with a rope. Also didn't work. Then the wall was they wanted to push the tiny house over the wall. So the wheels from the tiny house were on the wall from the base. And they tried to use some wood to stabilize everything, but this also didn't work. And the tiny house scratched the stone. So then they decided to add more earth to make it a bit higher, a bit more less steep, the whole thing.
We had to do it more even smooth.
Yeah.
It was already quite smooth, but we had to do it even more. I was going to say that it was quite tight because it was a huge stone in the middle of the hill up. So yeah, we had some wood plank for the wheels, excavator in the back pulling it, another tractor pushing it, and I was almost crying.
I mean, I couldn't do anything. I was just watching. Daniel was running around, trying to help. Also whistling when I was getting too close to something, which confused Bonnie a lot because she thought he was whistling for her. So pregnant Bonnie was running towards him, and I tried to get Bonnie back. No, but Like on my side, it was already intense. But you said like with the stone, that the wheel went over the stone.
Yeah. So there was not only the stone on the right side that was also hitting the tiny house like 1.5 meters from the floor, but also there was a tiny part from the ground that the wheels would go over the stone, right? So it was like this 3.5 tons pressure being applied just in the corner from the tire, or also then. So we're just like waiting to explode to pop it. But
And then when we almost managed, the branches of the tree, which is standing next to the base, were like scratching the tiny house too much and we couldn't continue. So then we need to take a break, cut the branches.
yeah, but that was already
This was already easy.
that was easy. After once we passed the stones in the ramp part, it was easy.
Yeah, I think the ramp was the most difficult. And it was just like also the tiny house. So when you move, you have it on the wheels. But when it stands, you have like some little feet we can pop out. And then you need to adjust with the feet, the level of the tiny house, so that everything is like, leveled.
And this part that you have on the floor of the tiny, I think on the
Trailer?
straight of the tiny house to level, it's really nice. You really can fold and fold it in control quite nice with the tool there, and that you really level the tiny house quite.
Yeah.
You don't put the weight of the tiny house completely on this levels, but you still have tiny house on wheels and you control it afterwards just to balance it out. It's super easy.
Yeah, when it was standing, next step was bring the electricity, like from the old base to the new one. It's also a bit exciting, but the guys are so skilled. So I was so impressed how skilled they are with this excavator. Like they dig the hole so fast, climbed down, went to the electricity. And then it was one thing, the electricity box was glued to the old tiny base or to the fence next to the tiny base. So Senor Ricardo needed like to free it with a hammer, pulled out the cables and moved the box. I don't know, I was impressed. Like for me, I cannot do anything, and they did everything so fast and so well. So I thought like, before lunch, everything will be done. But then the water pump was somehow damaged. It didn't really work. It's still not great, but
The
better.
electricity is there.
Yeah.
We still need like a ground pipe to pretty much prevent us from dying. Touch that part,
From the electricity.
the electricity part.
Yeah.
Once the tiny house was there, but it's just more manual work. It's like organize electricity, pipes here and there. Also, of course, bringing all of the stuff we took out back to the tiny house. Yeah, the tent is empty.
The tent is empty. Took the last thing today. Yeah, but I took off this Monday so that I could also clean the tiny house because everything was super, super dirty after the move and taking everything out and in. And then I started to put the things in again. And it's not a long distance, but it was so exhausting. It was a whole day job.
It's exhausting. You need to clean everything again because the tiny house that was clean got dirty because whatever, back and forth, going inside.
And,
Also, the soil here, it's like this powder sand. So by walking, it's hard to walk. It's dirty.
It's not fun. And then in the end, I was already done. And I just wanted to do the last move and take the wine bottles back in. And then when I came to the tiny house, there was like a massive frog waiting next to the bottles.
That was actually funny because this video that Stella is doing whatever. At the same time, you're trying to figure out what's happening with the water pump that's not happening. And then you're gonna see Stella like screaming, and then I'm like, oh, it's probably a snake. Go there, and I'm like, no, I think it's fine. And Stella screaming, then it was a frog. And
No, Bonnie, wait. Shh, Bonnie.
But it was a big one. Like small ones are totally fine, but the big one, I don't mind if it's next to me, but I don't like to touch it. And the jump of this frog was very, like, I don't know. I didn't know how he would jump, and I already saw the frog like gluing on me, and everything which is like smooshy, soft, naked. I don't know. It's not mine. Yeah, but yeah, I'm from the city. I'm still learning. Maybe in a few years I just take and drop it out.
yeah,
But I'm not there yet.
when it's pregnant, just try to help a bit, but it's just extra. of this stuff. And yeah, I think that was it for the
Yeah. Happily moved. We managed. Now it's Saturday and now everything's in. It's still a bit chaotic, especially because we prepare everything for Bonnie to have puppies. So we'll just see how we do this. But another topic, another video.
Yeah, also managed to clean the side here, so we don't have so strong vegetation, dry vegetation next to the tiny house.
Oh yeah, to protect it against the wildfires.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice. I think we're in a way better situation where we are river proof. Of course, it's still close to the river, but it's now,
Way higher.
yeah, I think the water goes there. We have other issues. That's it. We're gonna keep on working on the videos. We're just delayed. It's tricky to get things done
Too many things happening.
and work, and yeah, it's just a lot. But we're having a lot of fun, I guess. It's nice. What else?
Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao.